Hello. Welcome back to one of my videos, one of Mr. Mijares' videos. Hopefully, this one is with audio. We'll see it at the very end. We'll see if it is. Now, this is nets of three-dimensional figures. Just in case you guys weren't able to do it on your own, I'm going to do it with you. How to draw triangular prism, square prism, hexagonal prism, cylinder, a square pyramid, triangular pyramid, cone, sphere, and a cube. Now, let me just eliminate these. I thought I did, but I copied and pasted, and somehow it's coming back. Now, triangular prism. The way you draw a triangular prism is first you do two triangles and you do them separated from one another. Separated from one another. Oh, that's too big. Let me erase the inside so that I can shade it yellow later on. Then, all you got to do is connect the same dots, the same vertices, with the same vertices. And this is a triangular prism. Now, I was asked a lot in class, but sir, there's 1, 2, and 3 rectangles. There's 1, 2 triangles. Why is it called a triangular prism if there's more rectangles? 1, 2, and 3. The one on the sides and the one in the bottom. Well, I gotta tell you this. When you have what you have less of, the shape that you have less of, that is the base and the name for the figure. So what you have less of, what do you have less of? Triangles or rectangles? Triangles. So that means whatever a name's going to be, I know it's going to be triangular. You might not know if it's a prism or a pyramid, but I know that it's going to be triangular because what you have less of, that's the name and that's the base. In this case, yeah, it's going to be triangular. Ahora, whether it's a prism or a pyramid, I'm pretty sure you can visually see that it's not a pyramid, not exactly. And another little note that I want you to do is when you have two bases, it is a prism. When you just have one base, it's a pyramid. One base, it's pyramid. Just not to make it that long. So when you have two bases, right here, you have 1, 2, it's automatically going to be a prism. When you have one base, it's going to be a pyramid. And remember, what you have less of, I forgot the of right here. What you have less of, that is the base and the name for the figure. Ahora. Now, just to show you what it looks like, if you were to separate this completely, separarlos, this shape, like open it up in a way. That's what we did in class. We opened it up. Okay, it's fine if it's circled. Doesn't. Yeah, there we go. When we open it up, this is what it looks like. Ahí está. Now, this is the so-called net, the famous net. The net for the triangular prism is this right here. It is composed of 3 rectangles and 2 triangles, así, pegados, connected with one another. When you open it, and when you close it, it's going to look like this. If you opened it, se vería así. This is the net for it. Now, square prism. A square prism is going to look basically the same as this, but instead of triangles, what do you think we're going to have? Squares, muy bien. Ahora otra vez. First, what you need to draw. What are going to be my bases right away? Squares, correcto. What do we have to draw first? Squares. That's exactly right. This is what we're going to draw. Now remember, when you have 2 bases, it is a prism. Entonces, como es prism, we're going to have to draw 2 squares. 1. Ay, no me salió muy bonito que digamos. 1 and 2. There we go. Let me erase the inside, and all you got to do is connect the same position vertices with the same position vertices. Los mismos puntos con los mismos puntos. Same points with the same points. There we go. Now this is a good looking square prism. All right, I'm going to highlight the bases. Remember, what you have less of, that's the base and that's the name. What do you have less of? Squares or rectangles? Exactamente. Squares. So this is the base and the name for this geometric figure. 3-dimensional figure, actually. When you can see it, when you can touch it, when it has space in between, it's a 3-dimensional figure. When it's just like this, that means it's a 2-dimensional figure. No es algo que puedas tocar. It's not something you can see or touch or anything. It's plain. This one, obviously, you can touch it and whatnot. Ahora, a square prism. I just want to make sure that this is clear. The shape you have less of, that's the name and the base for the figure. Es el nombre y la base. Name and the base for the figure. And when you have 2 bases, is a prism. When you have 1 base, it's a pyramid. But ahorita todavía no, we're not going to focus on pyramids. We have 2 bases, una, dos. That means it's a prism. Remember, when you have less of, that's the name of the base. What we have less of, it's a square. And when we have 2 bases, it's a prism. And that means it's a square prism. Well, guys. Now, I already drew this information, which is what I want you to know. For the next ones, I'm not going to write it again. I'm just going to say it. Hexagonal prism. Hexagonal and prism. How many bases are we going to have? Hopefully you said 2. If not, don't worry. This is sort of a new lesson in a way. Wow, that's really good. Let me just see if I can copy and paste it, because that would be better. Pretty cool. Now, all you gotta do is connect the same dots with the same dots. Not very good. It's curved. It's better. Same dots with the same dots, remember. Abajo con el de abajo, arriba con el de arriba, y el del medio con el del medio. No, it's getting out curved. Why? There we go. Better. Now, hexagonal prism. What are the bases? What do I have less of? Hexagons or rectangles? What do you think? Well, obviously, sir, hexagons. Okay, so the name is going to be hexagonal. Now, I don't know if it's going to be a prism or pyramid. What do you think? Well, how many bases do I have? Una o dos? 1, 2. If I have 2, that means it's going to be a prism. Okay? Ahora, I forgot about the nets, guys. Sorry about that. Now, the square prism, if you were to separate it, se vería así. It will look like this. These are the squares right here, and these are the rectangles. If you were to open it up, if you were to separate them, this is how it would look like, and this is the base again. And over here, the base is a triangle. Triangles, en realidad, porque son dos, because there are 2. Hexagonal prism. So, for the hexagonal prism, it's going to look like this if we were to separate it. With 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rectangles. And that makes sense because an hexagon, how many sides does it have? 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. If each one has a rectangle, well, we're obviously going to have 6 rectangles. Entonces, yeah. These are the bases, and this is how you draw the net. Now, I'm not being very careful with staying within the lines, but it doesn't matter. But you do, please. Please be as careful as you can be. No pasa nada, como quiera. Now, a cylinder. What does a cylinder look like? Hopefully, you have an idea. And we have cone and sphere that a lot of people confuse those 3. I don't know why. But a cylinder, all you can imagine is like a can of Coke, a Sprite, or something like that. It's with the prisms because it is sort of like a prism. It is exactly a prism, but the thing is just a little bit different. And you'll see why in a little bit. Vamos a dibujarlo. Instead of drawing a square, drawing a triangle, we're going to draw 2 circles. Y voy a hacer copy, paste, and ya le agarré el rollo. I got the hang of it now. Ahora, we're going to connect it. And there we go. That's a cylinder. Pero, what's the difference between these and these? Well, the difference, why it's not called prism, is que it doesn't have any points. No tiene puntos. Doesn't have any little vertices. That's what they call them. That's why it's called just a little bit different, but it's basically the same thing as a prism. It has 2 bases. That's why it's a prism. And base is a circle. But as I said, since it doesn't have any vertices, no tiene puntos, it's called just a little bit different. Now, cylinder, como quiera, circle. You can still make the word circle with it. If you move it around C, I, R, and then the C again, you're going to have to reuse it. L and E. Circle. And you can find it there, pero, yeah. Now, The net for this one sería así. It would be two circles with a rectangle in between them. That's the net for it. Ahora let's go to the next one, que sería a square pyramid. These are going to be different. Not prism, now it's a pyramid. That means we're just gonna have one base, and it's literally the word that is in front of the word pyramid. That's gonna be your base. So what do you think we're gonna draw? A square, muy bien. A square, y lo dibujamos aquí. Bueno, no, en realidad, let me make it a little bit bigger. Okay, there we go. Y ahora, all you gotta do to create the pyramid or to draw it, because I did have a few people have issues with that. What helps me is just drawing a little dot right on the top. What you're gonna do is you're gonna get all the little vertices aquí, ¿verdad? And you're gonna connect it to that dot. That's how you're gonna draw a pyramid. Una, dos, tres, cuatro. There we go. And what do you think the base is? A square, muy bien. So right here, that's the base. How many bases do I have? Just one. That means, I have just one base, then this thing is a pyramid. Pero what's my base? A square, so it's going to be a square pyramid. Manas. Now the net, if you were to open it up, it would look a little bit like this. There we go. 4 triangles and the square. But which one's the base? The triangles or the square? The square. Why is that one the base? Hopefully you can answer with the same thing I've been saying. What you have less of, that's the base and name. Triangular pyramid. And ahora, with a triangular pyramid, what do you think we're going to draw? Okay. A triangle, correct. Let's draw the triangle. No, you know what? A little bit down, because we're going to have something at the top. So there we go. Doesn't have to be perfect. Well, actually, yeah, it does. Not perfect. Just one more shot, please. There we go. I say it does because, well, let's just say if it looks weird, I have the tendency to try to make it better. A little dot at the top so I can connect all the vertices to that dot. Ahora sí. You're going to do the exact same thing as you did over here, but now the base, it is a triangle. El que dibujamos. That one right there. Dun, 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 dun. How many bases do I have? 1, so that means it's a pyramid. And what's the base? A triangle. So it's a triangular pyramid. The net looks a little bit like this. If you were to open up that shape right here, if you were to open it up, it will look right like this. Triangle in the very, very middle, and that's the base. And that's where they all go back to. That's what it's called. That's what the name is called for this figure. Ahora, un cono. A cone is actually very easy to draw. Basically, all you got to do is what? Think about, an ice cream cone. That's good. So, first we draw a circle. ¿Verdad? Think of it like where the ice cream goes. Then, a little dot over here so I can connect it to both. Well, una y dos. There we go. Con ganas. Con ganas. That's the cone. That's how it looks. What's the base? Un círculo. Órale. Now, these is with pyramids, but since it's a little bit different, that's why it has a different name. But it still starts with C, so you can think about the C connected to the circle, and it's pretty good. Ahora, the net, the way it looks, is like this. Just make it a little bit smaller para que quepa. Usually the net is just a little bit more than 1/4 of a circle. And that's how it looks like. It looks pretty cool. And again, the circle is the base. Ahora, the sphere. How do we draw a sphere, sir? Well, it's a little bit different. Not gonna lie. Primero, un círculo. Then, what I do is this. Así. And then, ahí está. To represent a sphere, una bola, una pelota, a ball, ornaments for Christmas, things like that. These are called spheres. The hard part for this is the nets. Some people get a little bit confused with it. Pero the way I remember it is this. If you were to cut, in this case, una naranja, an orange, the outer part, this figures, that's what it would make. It's like a flower looking net in a way. That's how you separate it. But it's fine. Alright. So it will look like this in a way. Yeah, like I said, like a flower. Más o menos así. Not that good, but don't worry that much about it. That's the sphere. Ahora, el cubo. So why is it called a little bit different? Well, you can think about the Rubik's Cube. Just if you're not that sure how it looks like or what it is. Basically, you are going to draw, first, you're going to draw a square. Then, you're going to give the square like a little belly button. Then, we're going to draw another square using that belly button. Let me move it. Let me move it a little bit over here. There you go. Ahora, then you just connect the same with the same. And that will be a cube. Esa última, just a little bit different. There we go. Híjole, that's perfect. The base can be what you started with, just to not get confused. These are the two ones that I did. But in reality, well, because they're the same shapes, it doesn't really matter. Ahora, or in a way, we started with just one. You can think about it both ways. It's fine. As long as you remember that it's called a cube. Ahora, what you can think about also, it's like a dice. How do they do a dice? Pues tiene 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, y 6. 6 sides. Or you can think about it without the dice, just like this, looking like this. And it's fine as well. All of them are squares. And that's how the neck looks like. this is for this worksheet. That's all we went over on Friday, February 25th. Thank you.